Hi everybody, welcome to archaeology class and my first devotional with you all. I'm so excited to start this archaeology journey with you. There's just so much there that can help our biblical understanding, historical understanding, especially in like illuminating the world of the Bible and making it come alive. I really hope you enjoy it. I know I'm excited about it. I'm trying something a little new with these devotionals. I hope it really helps to make it come alive for you and show you what God is doing behind the scenes of Scripture at times. This first week I'm going to be focusing on 2 Chronicles, chapter 16, a couple of verses there. So let's get started. Chapter 16, verses 8 and 9 is basically stepping into the middle of a confrontation between Hanani the seer, or the prophet, and Asa, king of Judah. So let me read verse 7 just to kind of set the stage for you. Verse 7 says, "At that time Hanani the seer came to Asa, king of Judah, and said to him, 'Because you relied on the king of Syria, and did not rely on the Lord your God, the army of the king of Syria has escaped you.'" So Hanani is saying, man, you didn't rely on God like we were supposed to. Don't you remember in our verses here, verses 8 and 9, let's just continue reading there. It says, "Were not the Ethiopians and the Libyans, a huge army with many chariots and horsemen? And yet because you relied on the Lord your God, he gave them into your hand." So Hanani starts to remind Asa of past victories. I think that's so important for all of us to do, to remember where God has been there in the past. I love verse 9 here, and so let's continue on to verse 9. He says, "For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth to give strong support." I love that phrase. "To those whose heart is blameless toward him." And Hanani reminds Asa, man, you've done foolishly in this. For from now on we will have war. So what can we glean about God from this passage? And I think verse 9 is pretty overt, actually, but let's take a deeper look at it. It says, for the eyes of the Lord run to and fro. So, it may be obvious, but the Lord can see, folks. The Lord sees. And it's not like a passive seeing. It's not like he just wound up the earth, wound up your life, and set it out there to spin like a top. It's not a passive seeing. Not where he's just watching. But, he's searching to and fro throughout the whole earth, and with a purpose, to give strong support. That's just a beautiful phrase. To those whose heart is blameless toward him, to those who are in his family and are following him. So, not only does God see your situation, he knows your stresses. He knows what's going on at work. He knows about your family. He knows what happened to you as a kid. The Lord knows your situation intimately. He's seen it all, folks. And yet not just that. He wants to give strong support. Let me just right here, let me boil that down for you. Wants to bless. I think it's so important to remember that God is looking for opportunities, basically, to show himself strong. He wants to show himself able, wants to show himself loving, and wants to be there for you in your situation. You can trust him, I think is one of the things we can really glean here. And man, like Hanani says here, it's foolish not to, folks. It really is. He's the one being in this entire world who can actually do something about our situations. I love when I realize that, you know, God, when I lean on him, God is the one who can help me. So many times when hard times come, people run from God and blame him and, you know, become embittered. And man, it's foolish not to rely on him. That's the God we serve, folks, one who wants to bless. I hope you have enjoyed what we can glean out of this one little verse in Scripture. I'm looking forward to the coming weeks where we'll take a look at other Scriptures. Have a great week, everybody.